You really need to talk to the folks here at Next Level. I've got to tell you, just speaking to the people here, they are fired up, they get it, they've got the right balance, and they're all increasing their income, they're increasing their production.
But you're dealing with people that are in the trenches dealing with this, are practitioners, had failures, had successes, learned from it, and it's about helping you not just like get through the next month, but it's about creating legacy business for yourself.
But I can tell you that you are mission focused. I know you're purpose focused, and I can tell you that every loan officer that I've communicated with that's been part of your platform has been a raving fan.
This is the Next Level Loan Officers Podcast, a proud founding member of the Real Disrupt Podcast Collaborative. You can check out more awesome podcasts at realdisrupt.com. And now, Kenneth Travis and Sean Zalmanoff.
What's up, everyone? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Next Level Loan Officers Podcast. I am your host today, Jason Frazier, and this is a continuation of the series of Meet the Coaches, where we're going to meet the awesome founders of this great coaching group. And so far, we've had Sean on, and we've had Shane. So now we're going to have my man Kellen on. Talking about what drives him and get a little background on Kellen and his business and kind of the next level difference. And what I'm excited about this is we're hearing all the different perspectives from the coaches. And I think so far, for those of you that have listened to Sean and listened to Shane, is understand how special this group is and the community that they have created. So without further ado, Kellen, go ahead and introduce yourself to the next level audience, my friend.
Well, hello. Jason, I will say, for those of you that listen to Shane and Sean, this is going to be a real step up, right? This is going to be a significant step in the right direction for you loan officers that have listened to these three podcasts. So just get ready, because we're going to do some really exciting stuff here.
Nice. Well, I like how each one of you take a subtle dig at each other. So it's good. And I'll see if you follow suit. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but I'll see if you follow suit with Sean and Shane. So Kellen, tell us about, just give us a little bit of your background. Yeah.
So first of all, thanks, Jason. This is awesome. It's fun kind of being on the other side of the microphone here, for once. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Yeah. So, I have been involved in some aspect of real estate since I left college, which was just a few years ago. And so really I started out in the property management world, which is kind of crazy. Like I worked for this guy who I guess was like a slumlord. And I mean, it was just crazy, some of the stuff. So I kind of really got a good feel for real estate doing that. I decided that brokerage and those kind of things just weren't my specialty. And so I got into lending, and it was I got in right in 2010. So I've been in about a decade now, and man, it's pretty crazy. I watched kind of 7, 8, and 9 happen, and somehow still felt like it was a good idea to get into the mortgage business. But by 2010, things had kind of turned around, and I felt like, man, there was a bright spot there, and we were going to see some real growth. And sure enough, we did. So, the last decade in the mortgage business it's had its ups and downs, but from an overall perspective, it's been really, really good. I will say that I struggled for a while, in the business, and it wasn't until I attended a coaching event that I really kind of saw the light and began to really enjoy the mortgage business. Like, I feel like I kind of halfway through my career kind of cracked the code for, oh, that's how you do it. That's how these guys are doing it. Yep. But it took me a while to figure that out. And so, what's been fun about our journey with Next Level is watching other people go through that process, like watching them kind of have that moment. And if you've ever been to one of our live events, and Jason, I know you've been to a few, you can literally watch the crowd have that moment. And that's so exciting for us. And I will speak for the rest of the coaches when I say it. That for us is what's so cool. It's because the mortgage industry can be amazing. It can be phenomenal. A lot of people struggle through it. But for those that can kind of see it a little different, it's really amazing what they can turn their careers into.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. And, just personally, just experiencing that. And I mentioned this on the other podcast as well. So I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing me say it, but this is different, right? I've been with loan officers that have trained on other coaches. I've experienced other coaching, programs, and this one is different. So love what you guys have created, which brings me to my next question is one thing that I always talk about when I mention next level to people or someone that's interested in coaching is that the X factor to me is, compared with other programs, is that you guys are all still in the trenches. You guys are still originating. You guys have built teams, running your own operations and focusing on a lot of different aspects in the industry. And so I want to give the listeners a little background on your mortgage business that you've built thus far, and how you started, and maybe some of your pain points and what you realized growing that from scratch.
Yeah. So we jumped in really as a broker operation. And, I always tell people that I did it the wrong way and probably not the way you're supposed to do it. And, in that I just kind of jumped in, like having never originated a loan. I got a license. We started a broker shop and kind of hung our shingle and went to work. Back then I'll never forget, this is a funny story. Some of you that are a little older in the business will appreciate it. We were selling a lot of loans to Franklin American at that time. And I had a great AE in the Dallas-Fort Worth area from Franklin American. And he literally came over to my office and showed me how to put the 1003 into their system and how to upload all the documents. And it was a mess. I probably should not have been originating loans at that time.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we were. And so I really credit him for kind of getting us up and rolling and, going. So we kind of morphed. We went through broker, we went through mini correspondent, and then I went over to a branch from a corporate side and have been to 2 different shops. And I've been with my current company for, we got here in 2017. We were here a little bit prior, took a small hiatus and came back. So I'm not one that kind of jumps around a whole lot. We've found a lot of success here where we're at. And my business has looked, it's looked different over the years. I mean, there was a point in time where we had, 30 loan officers and a bunch of processors, and we've both scaled up and we've scaled down. I really feel like, and I'm a little unique probably when it comes to the coaches, in that my business model right now is what we in the coaching group would refer to as kind of a mega producer, right? So it's really just me. I have 2 other loan officers on the team, but they are smaller producers. And so I do the vast majority, and I have several people on the team that support just my business. So for me, it's really all about kind of building my brand and growing it out. And again, I've done both. There's no right or wrong. I see people that are super successful with a ton of loan officers. I know people that are super successful in our model. It's kind of what we always talk about at the end of the day. It doesn't really matter how many loans you do. I don't care what your volume is. Show me your W-2, right? At the end of the day, we're in this business to make money, to generate a livelihood for our families, to create legacy wealth, and to do things that we want to be able to do. And so I hear people say all the time, oh man, I closed, $10 million, in new loans, or $20 million in new loans last month. I go, man, that's awesome. That's great. How much did you make on that? Right. And that's at the end of the day, that's kind of what matters. So again, no right or wrong, but that's just kind of where we are. Smaller operation right here in Dallas-Fort Worth. But, my life today is dramatically different than it was, in the past, in that I make more revenue per hour today than I have ever in my entire life, and probably 10 to 15x of what I did 5 years ago. Maybe more than that. I really need to put a pencil to that. But, and that's at the crux of what we talk about at Next Level is how do you do that, right? Yeah. How do you move the needle? One of the exercises we go through in our live events is really having everybody calculate, what is your dollar per hour revenue? Most people have never even thought about that. And so, we take people through that process. Where do you want to be? Where are you at today? And how do we get you to that point? And that was a big deal for me, because when you start thinking about your day in terms of dollars per hour, it really changes your outlook in terms of where you spend your time, energy, and effort. We all have the same amount of hours in the day. I like to go home at a decent time and spend time with my wife and kids. And, so for me, it's maximizing the time at my office. But that's my business today. It's great. It's better than it's ever been. Of course, a lot of people are having a lot of success right now, but we're busier than we've ever been. And, it's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I appreciate about Next Level is with other coaches, and it's depending, right? I've talked about this with Sean and Shane. There's no perfect program. It's just a perfect match between how you want to do business.
Sure.
But I like how Next Level puts an emphasis on you being happy both in your business and at home as well. Is try to find that balance that works for you. And people will see that like, oh, well, I want the grinders, I want the hustle. But hey, I've been to the events. They talk about that. It's not like, hey, let's just make sure it's all rainbows and lollipops. It's like, no, this is real. This is the work you're going to put in. Don't kid yourself. Be real with yourself. But still, the emphasis on making sure that you have and you're not burnt out by just working all the time and making sure that you're putting a premium on your happiness in this business. So that's what I appreciate.
You're 100% right, Jason. And we have guys and gals in our group that some of them probably make $75,000 a year. And I know for a fact there's guys that make over $1.5 million a year. It's not right or wrong. It's just what you want. Yep. So my goal is to take you where you want to be. I see advertisements all the time online for coaching and things like that, how to be a millionaire loan officer. Well, not everybody wants to be a millionaire loan officer, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there are a lot of people that we talk to who say, listen, if I could just get 3 more loans a month, 4 more loans a month, I would be so happy. I could do all the things I want to do, but I just can't get there. Or if instead of working 80 hours a week, if I could just work 40 hours a week and make the same amount of money, my wife would be happier. My kids would be happier. They would be able to see me more. I would be happier. We could go on vacation. It's not all about making $1 million. And again, there's nothing wrong with making $1 million. Kudos and hats off to everybody that can do that. But for a lot of people, it's a different kind of freedom. For a lot of people, it's financial freedom. But for the vast majority, it's typically a different kind of freedom. Freedom to travel when they want to. Freedom to hang out with their kids, have time. Freedom to, if I want to take my kids to school in the morning, if I want to be there and pick them up in the afternoon. I mean, these are the real conversations that we have with loan officers on a daily basis. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I literally have loan officers weeping on a call or a coaching call, and they say, my kids don't know who I am. Yeah. I don't know who they are, and I have 5 years left with them in my house. This is real talk, right? I mean, this is some kind of rah-rah, get you excited, kind of bullshit. And I don't know if we can cuss here, but
we just did.
But it's real. I mean, these are real people who have real issues. And so my goal isn't, hey, I'm going to make you a millionaire. My goal is I want you to be able to take your kid on that camping trip. Yeah. I want you to go home. I want you to be a better dad. I want you to be a better husband, a better spouse, better wife, better mother, whatever that is for you. And it's different for everybody. Yeah. So no, we're not a one size fits all, and we're not it's all about the dollars. It's all about the life, right? Yeah. I think and I'm biased, but I think being a mortgage loan officer is one of the best kept secrets in the world in regards to how much money you can make relative to the amount of time that you have to put in and the amount of freedom that you get. Yeah. I'm sure there are other jobs out there that are like this, but man, I don't know of many. I think about doctors and attorneys who most years I make more money than them. And those guys have to, they work 40, 60, 80, 100 hours a week. They're on call nights and weekends. So, the mortgage industry is fantastic, and there's so much opportunity and there's so much business out there. My goal is to take that loan officer and find out what they need, what they want. You need a couple more loans a month? Perfect. Let me show you how to do it. You need more time during your week? Perfect. I've got a plan for that. You want to spend more time with your kids and your wife? Awesome. You want to make more dollars per loan? Perfect. Whatever it is, we can help take them through that process.
Awesome. Yeah, no, and I 100% agree with that, that this industry is great. And I talk about that all the time, is that not just being a loan officer, but you really you can really come in with nothing
Absolutely.
and make a huge career out of it, just from a receptionist and move your way up, become an underwriter. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do, and there's so many stories of that. So truly is one of the great industries where you can start from nothing and end up having a really successful career. So let's talk a little bit more about you. Is what is your driver? What motivates you? How are you driven, and what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, I'm a dad of 4,
Mhm.
right? So that's a pretty big driver for me. It's funny, I've really shifted my thinking over the years. And somebody told me, maybe it was my dad, I think, that told me that this would happen over time, right? So when I was younger, and I say younger, give me 5 years ago in the industry, or,
Mhm.
I was willing to trade time for money,
Yep.
right? So work harder, work harder, work harder, make more money, make more money. And I've gotten to a point now in my life where it's the opposite, right? I'm willing to trade money for time. And
Yep.
so for me, I'm, really trying to figure out, and my passion is, how do I build this business with less and less and less involvement from me, right? There
Yep.
will always be involvement. There will
Yep.
always be some degree, but how do I create an amazing freedom within this career? And maybe it's not so that I run home, at 2:00 in the afternoon every day, but it gives me the opportunity to spend more time with Next Level. It gives me the opportunity to invest in some other projects that I have going on, or do some other things that I want to do. So, my passion really is kind of maximizing that time. And we spend a lot of time with the family, the kids, and all that. And that's great. But, man, I'm just, I'm trying to figure out how to maximize this little ride that we're on and get as much out of it while we can.
Yeah, no, I too had that. And, unfortunately I'm built to be kind of a workaholic, and
Yeah.
it's not because of the hustle or the grind. It's just because that's just how I am. I got that from my mom. She was the same way.
Yep.
And it is, you have that sacrifice when you're willing to sacrifice that time for the money. But now it's definitely having more of a premium of knowing that, like, I want to spend more time with my kids. And with that, and we've talked about it a little bit, about Next Level, but
Mhm.
what is, in your opinion, what is the Next Level difference? How is Next Level different from, what the other programs that are out there?
Yeah, great question. So we touched on it a little bit. I mean, I think the reality for us is, being able to take a loan officer from where they are today and get them to where they want to be, right? And that's, again, different for everybody. I'll tell you the other thing that I think is one of the biggest differentiators. And if you ask the folks that are in our group what they think is the greatest piece of this, it's not us. It's not the coaches, and it never has been. We're very upfront about that. We say,
Mhm.
listen, guys, we're the facilitators here. The wealth of knowledge, the power is within the group, right? So I am constantly amazed when I look. We have a private Facebook group. Jason,
Yeah.
you're in there. We
Yep.
have a private Facebook group. All of our coaching members are in there. And it's so inspirational. It's so fun to scroll through that and see what's happening with the folks who are in our group. And it's everything from, somebody asking a question about how to solve a problem and 15 people jumping in there willing to help. Hey, try this strategy, do this, get this widget, pull this lever, whatever it is. To, I see people in the group who didn't know each other before coming into the group, and now they're posting pictures of their families on vacation together,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, to me, that's the power. If you've ever felt like you're alone on an island as a loan officer, I have felt that way many, many times, especially when I was a broker. Felt like I didn't have a lot of people around me. But if you feel like that, man, this is a great place to get community, to
Yep.
get loved on, to get poured into, to get re-energized, to all those things. I mean, I hear about when we have our masterminds and everybody comes together, And people are genuinely, they're sad to go home. It's like, man, I'm hanging out with my brothers and sisters. I'm hanging out with, some of my best friends. If you look at Shane and Sean and myself and KT, we didn't know each other prior to being in a coaching group. We all met there, became great friends. And now we're best friends, and our families vacation together and we hang out together, and here we are. So to me, man, one of the biggest differentiators between us and the others is the family aspect, the power of the group, the quality of people. We just don't let jerks in the group. We keep it pretty tight. And these folks who are in there, man, they are willing to give. And that's one of our requirements, is if you're going to come and you're going to be a part of Next Level, you got to be willing to share, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're the material, sometimes you're the coach, sometimes you're the student. We say that often. So everybody has something to share. Everybody has something to bring. You may have a problem that somebody else has already found a solution to, and vice versa. And that's what makes our community so great. I can tell you, I don't know how many referrals we hand out in a month in that group, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
I've benefited from it. I'm sure everybody's benefited from it. So it's just a great community of people. We really call them our family. We talk to them all the time, and man, we get genuinely excited when we get to have an event where we're all together. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, and I could attest. In fact, I want to say that I saw a couple of the referral posts today in the group, and I could attest to the family nature of the group. And it's so funny that you said the jerks, is because when I sat down with a couple of coaching members at the San Diego Mastermind, we're sitting there, just talking about what was going on, and they said, and like three of them said, they're all, what I really like about this, they're all that they don't let any jerks in here. They just don't. And Shane had mentioned a little bit about that, and that's the thing, is I think you attract what the platform you've built, what you put out there, the way you guys handle yourselves and present yourselves. You attract the right people. And of course, some people are just there, you can never keep all the jerks out, right? Because I made it in. So
what's interesting is they tend to find their way out the door pretty quick, right? Yeah. Because typically negative people that are jerks, like to be around other people who are like that. And what you're going to find in our group is a bunch of positive, upbeat, optimistic folks who are excited about their business. And so you get somebody in there who's kind of a negative, I won't say Nancy because it could be a man or a woman, but it's a negative person in general. Yeah. They tend to kind of get a sense that they're in the wrong spot, and they exit out the door. So we try our best, but sometimes they sneak in.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely something that I appreciate, just knowing the people I've been able to meet. It's really cool, and I hope the people listening to this get a chance to experience that either with Next Level or with another community, because it is important to have your brothers and sisters in arms in the trenches, going through what you're going to. And I think it's very important aspect of having a strong community, and so hats off to you guys for creating that. As we wrap up, I want to get your advice. So right now we're 2020, even though the year has been pretty much insane, just from every aspect you could think of.
Yep.
Ultimately, the mortgage industry has been great. Like it's been, everyone's doing is more business than they ever have. Everyone's super busy, just record months, just everything. But we're going into 2020. We always know that this is mortgage industry's peaks and valleys, right? You're not always going to be on top. You're going to go down. You're going to have, seasonality and everything else that's going on. What should the focus be for loan originators for the rest of 2020 going into 2021?
Boy, great question. So a couple of things, and we talk about this in our huddle group literally every week. So my personal belief, and I'm not an expert on interest rates. I don't know much about that kind of stuff, but I read a lot. And I think we all agree interest rates are going to stay at all-time lows for the foreseeable future. And I had this same conversation with my coaching group, right? So if you feel like these rates, let's just say we all agree that they're going to be here through the end of the year. I think that's a fair statement. So if we all believe that that's the case, then, what I'm telling my folks now are you need to put people on your team in place who can help you maximize the number of families that you can help between now and the end of the year. Yeah. We're in an amazing, perfect storm right now. Purchase market, red hot. The equity, right? So the amount of equity people have in their homes, outrageous.
Yep.
And interest rates are at an all-time low. I mean, we have this perfect formula for success. So, to me, I look at the refinances as an opportunity to really build some wealth, right? So I challenge some of the students that I'm coaching is, listen, do 10 refinances a month, right? Like, I mean, rates are insane. It's silly. Finding 10 deals a month should be a no-brainer. And the ones I go, man, I just don't have time. Perfect. Hire somebody.
Yep.
Hire somebody to help you go through your old loans. Hire somebody to work the phones to find people for you to refinance. I mean, it's crazy right now. So get some help. That's my first advice. Get some help between now and then, because you owe it to those families out there. It's funny. I'll sidebar real quick. I hear people say all the time, well, I want to be your mortgage lender for life. And then I can't tell you how many loans I've refied that are at 5%, and their old loan officer hadn't even reached out to them, right? It's like, if you're their loan officer for life, you have an obligation to call these people and refinance them to put them in a better situation. If the borrower's calling you, asking you if they should refi, you've not done them a proper service. So I'll step off my soapbox now. But so get some help. Get some help in place. It'll cost you a little bit of money, but what you'll make will be tenfold on that between now and the end of the year. My second piece of advice would be, we have seen amazing opportunities right now to build the bench for realtors who otherwise may have another lender. Maybe that lender is overwhelmed. Maybe they're overworked. And so we've picked up a few that we've put on our bench. So when the rates go back up, which we know they will at some point, we've now kind of built up and built back that purchase business. So I'm a huge believer in refis. I love them. We make the same amount of money whether we do a refi or purchase. To me, refis are just low hanging fruit. So we go out and gather them all up. But we also have a tremendous purchase business, and we continue to baby that. We continue to date our loan officer, or our realtors, and love on them and make sure that we're taking care of them, because they take care of us when the market kind of shifts the other direction. So it's a lot of balancing right now, but it's an amazing time. If you're a loan officer and you can produce, get out there, because I'm telling you, you can really build some legacy wealth right now that otherwise, I don't know when this next kind of perfect storm will hit.
Yeah, no, and I hope you guys were paying attention to what Kellen just said. And one thing that you should take away is there's a difference between a mortgage order taker and a mortgage professional.
Yep.
And what Kellen's talking about is, when you're going to be that loan officer for life, you're going to have that customer lifetime value, which should be your focus as a loan originator. Then you need to be that professional that's letting them know, that's saving them money, that's also understanding their goals of why they're doing. Because if you do that, then you're not going to suffer like others do when it's just transaction based, when you're actually making a difference in their life. So the way we're going to wrap this episode out is the way we have with the other two, and that is going to be with the speed round. And the speed round is, I'm going to mention the other founders' names, and you have to give me a one-word description. The first word that comes to your mind when I say their name. Yep, that's right. That's what's happening right now.
Gracious.
All right. Okay. So the first person is Shane.
Intense.
Sean.
Numbers.
KT.
Country.
This comes from a guy that's in Dallas. All right, so that's funny. So I was waiting, because KT's unfortunately taken a brunt from the other coaches. So Kellen was actually very nice. Actually, Kellen has been very, very nice on this episode to KT.
It's funny. So people think that when we put on our live event, that a lot of the banter between the four of us is like a shtick that we put on. It's not. I can tell you 100%. We're genuinely like four immature college buddies that hang out all the time and just give each other a hard time. Like, we love each other like brothers. But we fight and we give each other a hard time just like that as well. So I can tell you, any interaction you see between us is 100% real, and we give each other an equally hard time, both privately and in front of the group as well.
Yeah, and I could attest to seeing that, and even when Sean and I are just talking, he always manages to throw a dig at KT somewhere in there. So I mean, why not, right? So
that's right.
For the loan officers that are listening to this, and we've talked to 3 great coaches, 3 great mortgage professionals here, and Kellen's right. This is a perfect storm. You don't know when it's going to happen again. This is a perfect environment to be successful. And if you aren't currently experiencing the success and the happiness that you want and that you need as being a mortgage professional, then check out Next Level, because there's a ton of originators I've met them personally that have found that are growing their business, that are doing new things. As I mentioned in the other podcast, go back and listen to some of the Next Level coach or Next Level mortgage professionals that we've had on this podcast that have talked about how their business has changed, tremendously. Not just like, hey, I moved incrementally. It's like, no, they really have made a difference. And so if you're not finding that success, check out nextlevello.com. You could schedule a free consult with one of the coaches to talk about it, to see if you are a fit for the community and for the group. And I think you'll find that there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of experience that you can tap into to make you a well-rounded mortgage professional and more importantly, a happy one, as Kellen mentioned. So Kellen, hey dude, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy to, spend with me to talk and kind of open yourself up a little bit and let people learn more about you.
Jason, I appreciate it as always. Such a pleasure to get to connect with you, and appreciate everything you do, my brother.
Awesome. Thank you. And so just like always, Next Level does have an app. And if you text Next Level to 36260, you could check out the app. Again, the website is nextlevello.com. You could check out the events that are happening. You could check out, once we get back to normal here, check out the events. But check out some of the content, meet the coaches, just get to know, what they're doing. Cause I know it's made a difference in my life. And I think it will do that for you as well. So on behalf of Kellen Vaughan, I am Jason Frazier. And as always, I hope you have an awesome day. Take care.